As a leader, the more senior you become in your company, the more you start to be surrounded by other leaders and senior leaders. And before you know it, one day you show up to work, you look around and you realize that everybody around you is a leader or a senior leader. Now, the analogy I like to use here is flying in a rocket ship. So imagine that you are in a rocket ship with a bunch of other leaders and you guys are shooting off to the moon. Now, you guys only know what's going on in that little rocket ship amongst those of you who are in that tiny confined space. But you actually have no idea what's going on Earth on the ground floor. So today's leadership hack is all about spending time with people who are less senior than you. And this leadership hack comes from Keith Barr. He's the CEO of Intercontinental Hotels Group. They have over 400,000 employees around the world. And I want to read the quote that Keith gave me when we spoke.
Hey, really quick. Do you want to hear something crazy? Over 96% of the people who watch these videos on this channel are not subscribed. Why don't we fix that? If you want to get access to more awesome videos just like this one, make sure to hit subscribe so you'll get notified when they get released.
And he says, the higher you get in the company, the more detached you are from reality. If you ever want to know what's working well in a hotel, for example, you actually go ask the frontline employees, you actually don't ask management. And I really love what Keith said here, right? The more senior you become, the more detached you become from reality. Now, is there actually any research or science or data that supports this? Yes, there is. So Dr. Tasha Eurich, she is one of the people who I interviewed for my book, and she is one of the world's leading expert on self-awareness. And what she realized after doing her research is that the more senior you become, the less self-aware you become. Scary statistic. I actually found this as well. So I interviewed 140 CEOs. I also surveyed 14,000 employees around the world, which was done in partnership with LinkedIn. And for my book, The Future Leader, I looked at a series of 4 mindsets and 5 skills that leaders of the future must possess. And when I was looking across all seniority levels, what I found is that the more senior you become, the better you think you are doing in terms of practicing these mindsets and skills, but the worse people who work for you think you're doing when it comes to practicing these mindsets and skills. In other words, the more senior you become, the more detached you become. As a leader, you think you're doing an amazing job practicing all these mindsets and skills, but those who work for you actually think you are doing a terrible job of practicing these mindsets and skills. So this is why it's so important for you to not lose touch as a leader, or as Keith says, not to lose reality, right? You want to make sure that you constantly have that relationship, that pulse with people who are less senior than you. And one of the people who pioneered this actually is Sam Walton, the founder of Walmart. And one of the things that Sam Walton would do is he would take out a yellow notepad and he would travel across the country to all of his different stores. And he would actually sit down and he would talk with customers. He would sit down and talk with the frontline employees, those who were working behind the cash register, those who were stocking shelves. And he would ask them what the company can do to improve, where they see other opportunities, what could they be doing better. And then he would take all that feedback and information back to his leaders and they would discuss those different ideas and how to implement them. So that's what I want you to do after watching this video. Whether you are a seasoned leader or whether you are just kind of new in that leadership role, really what I want you to do is to start to have more conversations with people who are less senior than you. And of course, you could just go up to them and say, hey, how's it going? But you really want to have some of these focused conversations. What could we be doing better? How could we improve the customer experience? What are you frustrated with? Where are your biggest challenges? And how can we as a company, how can I as a leader help you? And this is going to be a very challenging thing for you to practice as you excel and grow in your leadership career. So remember, the more senior you become, the more you need to spend time with people who are less senior than you. You don't want to lose touch with reality.